everyone. Hi, Victoria.
Hi, kia ora.
Kia
I'm fine,
ora.
thank you. I'm really good. I'm really good. And yourself? You're good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good as well. Yeah, Malaysia is doing all right. Yeah.
Oh, I miss Malaysia. I miss all of Southeast Asia. I really need some good, strong, hot sambal. Is what I'm after. I'm having withdrawal.
Yeah. Hopefully everything goes well, and then everyone could be back to traveling and so far. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully everything goes well. Okay. Probably we'll wait for another 30 seconds, then we'll begin the session. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, how's everything in Dunedin?
Dunedin, it's good right now. It's summertime. It's just beautiful. We've got a most beautiful day. I wish I could be walking around showing you the wonderful campus. The great thing about summer in New Zealand right now is we're 6 hours or 5 hours, depending where you are in Southeast Asia, ahead of you. And it'll be twilight tonight until about 9:45, and it gets light at about 5:30 right now. So it's really cool. So you can finish work, and then you've got nearly about 6 or 7 hours of daylight, and so we have dinner outside and maybe take the dog for a walk, or so it's really good.
That's great to know. Okay, probably I'll start with the session.
Okay.
Kia ora, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore. I'm Kylie, a senior education counselor from ATC Global Malaysia. Thank you each and every one of you being here with us today. Let's start with a short introduction about ACC. So ACC Global has been operating since 2008 and is a professional body that helps students connect to the right institute in New Zealand. Okay, with our experience, your dreams of studying overseas in New Zealand will be easier, smoother, and better, because we will be helping you with all the processes. Okay, today marks the first time that us, ACC Global, and in collaboration with Education New Zealand, proudly presenting this event, which is ENZ 360-degree live with all of you. So you'll be able to engage with any of the 8 universities on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Okay, just search our Facebook at ACC Global Malaysia, Singapore, or Indonesia. You can join any of the platform from these 3 countries. Now, you can also view our live section on the 8th, which is starting yesterday until coming Friday, 11th of December at 12 or 1:30 p.m. So each session will have different universities that are going live from New Zealand. Okay, so please help us to share and like our live session. If you have any questions or want to say hi, please write down in the comment section below so that we can answer to your questions later on. Now I would like to have a warm welcoming Victoria, from University of Otago. She's a regional market manager. Okay, I will not take too much of her time, so let's let Victoria go for her self-introduction.
Sure.
Yep.
Hi, everyone, or as we say in New Zealand, no mai, hari mai. Victoria, and I've been doing this job for about 11 years, looking after Southeast Asia. So there might be people watching right now that's like, oh my God, she's still around. I remember when I saw her in Indonesia or Singapore or Malaysia 2 years ago or something like that. So I'm still here. Missing Southeast Asia terribly. Hopefully by halfway through 2021 I can get back up there and see you all in person. But enjoy this next hour. Hopefully I'll answer your questions and give you a little bit more insight of what our city of Dunedin's like, what it's like to study and live in the South Island of New Zealand, and the wonderful, wonderful programs and campus and facilities that we have at New Zealand's oldest university.
Yep. Yeah. So Victoria, would you like to share a slide with us?
Sure, certainly.
Yeah.
One moment. This is just going to take a minute. Okay, let me know if you can see in front of you an introduction to Otago.
Yes, I can see it clearly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As all of us know, Dunedin is known as one of the oldest university cities and also the center of learning of New Zealand. Could you tell us a bit more about the city, the weather, the culture, and what should international students be expecting?
Yeah, sure. So you might not be aware, but the name Dunedin is Scottish for Edinburgh. So 200 years ago, we had basically Scottish forefathers came in the ships and came to the city of Dunedin. And they sort of created it. And this day, it looks like a beautiful sort of European or Scottish city. Now, we are in the South Island of New Zealand, or us locals, we like to call it the mainland. And you probably don't know this, but the city of Dunedin, or the Dunedin, the borough of Dunedin, is the same size as Singapore. So sometimes, you look at a map and you think, oh my goodness, New Zealand, it's so small. Well, think of that. If Dunedin itself is the size of Singapore, the actual country of New Zealand, it's the same size basically as if you put it next to France or the UK or Japan, it's about the same size. So we're in the South Island, and that's our main campus. We have campuses also in Invercargill, Christchurch, Wellington, and we've now built a brand new dental teaching facility in Auckland. So I would say that the University of Otago it's got the most campuses nationwide out of all the universities in New Zealand. One of the questions that students ask me quite a bit is, South Island, I bet it's cold down there. I'm afraid of the cold. I'm scared of the cold. Well, yes, it is a lot colder than Singapore or Malaysia or Indonesia. But if you were thinking of, especially with the borders closed at the moment, and you were thinking of going to the UK or Canada or America, it's a lot colder there than the South Island. I would say we're the equivalent of maybe southern UK, or if you're looking at America, Washington, just above California. It's definitely not as cold. You're not going to get like snow, 6 months of the year. You'll see 4 beautiful seasons, which makes a real change from living up by the equator, Southeast Asia. But we have heat pumps. So you all have AC. So when I'm up there in Southeast Asia and I'm in KL or Jakarta or Singapore and it's a hot, sweaty day, I'm inside, you got the AC going and it's nice and cool and refreshing. Yeah. Think of it the different. When it's on cold days here, we have heat pumps going. It's nice and warm inside and you can wear light clothing, etc. So it's not about the weather, it's about what you wear. I'm going to share with you. So basically the city of Dunedin, it's one of New Zealand's oldest cities. And these days, basically, it's a true collegial student city, which means, as you can see there, 25,000 students every year fly in, drive in from all over New Zealand or pre-COVID around the world to live on and around the campus. So New Zealand statistics says we've got the highest number of people under the age of 30 in all of New Zealand, which makes it a really lively, young, cultural city. We have museums, art galleries. We're UNESCO Creative City, so the city of literature, which means we have fine art festivals, fringe festivals. We have international concerts because we've got so many young people. Ed Sheeran played there 3 times. So, when people think, oh, God, New Zealand, if it's not Auckland, it's going to be really quite quiet. Yeah. Not in Dunedin, not when you've got a city full of young people.
Yeah, it's very happening from what you're saying.
It is, but also we've got this wonderful, we call it Scottish diaspora as well. So if you've always wanted to go to the UK but can't, well, you'll kind of get the best of both worlds. Because we still have a very strong sort of Scottish theme. You see bagpipes down there. We've got the only castle in New Zealand, and yeah, beautiful. I'll show you another screen. Beautiful architecture. So this is a bird's eye view of the city. We look out, we're right on the coast, 23 beaches that you can play around and explore. That's a harbour in the front. And yeah, and this is just typical architecture in our city. So yeah, very sort of Gothic looking, I suppose you could say. But it's a beautiful, compact city, which leads me really nicely into transportation.
Yeah, I would like to ask, most of our audience actually didn't been to Dunedin before. Could you tell us more about the campus and also transportation? How could they travel to the university? Would they be taking buses or trains or bike or walking? It's one of the options.
Yeah, that's a great question. So here's another sort of basically panoramic photo of the city of Dunedin. And the university is up in the north part of the city, and it goes all the way into the city. And I will show you a couple of videos, and you'll get a feel, by the end of this hour, you'll get a feel of the whole dynamics of this student city. So the students, they all live 1.5 kilometres around the campus. So yes, the airport is about half an hour away from the city, because as you can see, it is a little bit hilly. And then on the other side are big plains. So you would fly into the airport. We would organise for a shuttle bus into the city, so door to door. And then once you're settled in your accommodation, most students, they walk everywhere. I mean, it's lovely, cool weather. It's not hot and sticky. So the majority of students, they just walk everywhere. We do have the Lime e-scooters. So you download the app, look for the closest e-scooter near you, and away you go. We have public buses, and they are subsidised for students as well. So say you want to get to St Clair Beach, you would probably take a public bus, and yeah, they're subsidised. They're really kind of quite reasonable. Yeah. Around the city and the campus is very, very flat. So don't get me wrong, it's just up kind of towards this. I know Singapore's really flat, KL's really flat, but for those that live in Indonesia, when I go to Semarang, that reminds me of Dunedin, that same sort of geography where it's also flat around the city and then it gets a little bit hilly behind. So that always makes me a little bit homesick when I'm in Semarang. But yeah, it is very flat round where all the students live. So all the students live as I said before, around the city and the campus. We don't. We live out in the suburbs because it gets, so the students, they own that area. And so it's a lot of fun at night. There's a lot of people coming and going. The library's open till 11 o'clock at night. So the wonderful thing about our city being nice and compact is you'll never be stuck in traffic. So you're not wasting your day either. This is where our university is very different to any other New Zealand university in Australia, where the majority of those students, if you're in Auckland, if you're in Sydney, Melbourne, you live out in the suburbs majority of the time. And so you'd be coming by bus or train into the city. It might take half an hour. Then you're staying on campus, and then you probably go home. Or not at Otago. You live, you study, you socialise around the campus with your friends, with your academics, with tutors. So it's 24/7 being with other students. And that's what makes Otago very different. And a great quality of life as well, because you're not stuck in traffic, and you're, at night you feel safe, you're with your friends, and you're going into town to, cafes and restaurants, or going back to each other's house to cook, or staying in the library a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great to know. Students actually enjoy those sessions.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Now I'm going to show you this. This is a video
Mm-hmm.
done by Study Dunedin, which will give you a really nice sort of overview of what Dunedin is like and what it's like for the students.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My favorite things about studying in Dunedin is the people and the places.
This is the friendliest town in New Zealand.
Seeing the harbour and all the hills. It's like a paradise up here.
I love running from town onto the beach, and it's beautiful seeing the sunset and the sunrise.
When I first arrived on campus, my first impression was like, yes, like I picked a great university.
When I first saw Dunedin City, I thought it was like, how beautiful.
One of the things I love the most is enjoying the outdoors.
It's so easy to get out in terms of places to go.
Kayaking, bungee, and rock climbing.
Going for a surf, going spearfishing, going snowboarding, going hiking.
Mountain biking, rock climbing, sea kayaking, sailing, and a lot more.
Of course, we have like the fresh air that you can just take a deep breath.
Everything is right at your fingertips. The opportunities to be outside and to be active and get involved are endless.
I feel like ever since I came to Dunedin, my English got so much better. I had lots of chances to improve it as well.
My high school life is really amazing.
People here are very innovative, very creative, and inspiring individuals.
I love the way teachers teach us.
And you just learn more and more every day. You don't stop learning. It's life.
It's amazing how you gain the sense of belongingness, how people treat you nicely, how you appreciate the academic atmosphere. It's just about everything, just awesome.
I was just so excited to be here.
I give this now 100 points out of 100. So it's great.
It's hard to believe there's such a place in the world.
Come to Dunedin. You're going to enjoy it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't seen that video for a wee while, and just a couple of things I want to point out is you would have seen they went to the Dunedin Chinese Gardens and one, and as well as the Scottish diaspora. I mean, gold was discovered 200 years ago in Dunedin, and people from all over the world came to Dunedin or in central Otago to find gold and create wealth. So we had a lot of Chinese, I've forgotten, that came, around 200 years ago too, to work in the gold mines. So we've got a very, just like Southeast Asia, we've also got a really strong Chinese community that came from Guangdong, Fujian provinces. And we've now got Shanghai as our sister city, and we've got a proper traditional Chinese garden. So we celebrate Chinese New Year as well. So yeah, it's a very multicultural city in a way too, with all the international students, the international academics, and out in the communities too. And the students also talked about all the activities you can do in and around Dunedin, which I'll talk a little bit about later in this webinar. Okay.
In terms of students' livelihood, what kind of accommodation would Otago provide, or any that you would recommend that is convenient for students to travel to?
Yeah. So, of course, remember, it's all about walking, or as we call it in New Zealand, and I think the UK, there's a saying called Shank's Pony. So if you hear that, oh, I'm going on Shank's Pony, it means you're walking. I've got no idea why. Anyway, so everyone walks to their accommodation. And what makes Otago really special is we've got what we call residential colleges. Now, you would know them as halls of residence or dormitories, so don't get confused. I know colleges in Malaysia are colleges leading you into, universities.
Yeah,
These
correct.
are residential halls of residence. And basically, we've got 14 to choose from, and they're dotted all over, basically around the campus and around the city. You get your own bedroom, it's furnished, a little double bed, study desk, wardrobe. You can do whatever you like in your room, or put photos up and things like that. Wait for it. It's cleaned for you once a week. It's free laundry, free Wi-Fi, and the whole city's 1 gigabyte per second. 3 cooked meals a day, 7 days a week, and that's halal, vegetarian, vegan. If you've got any allergies, not a problem. And then they've got tutorials in the evenings. So it's very similar to Oxford colleges or Cambridge or Melbourne or Sydney. We're all those old Ivy League universities. So that's why we have these, what we call residential colleges. So that's one example of accommodation. Another one, fabulous, is uni flats. So uni flats is university flats that are owned by the university. Our colleges are all run and owned by the university. We don't have private companies running our colleges or our accommodation. It's all owned by the university, so that we can make sure you get the best pastoral care. And university flats is the same. So basically it's a little house. You are completely furnished. You get your own bedroom, but you're sharing it with 3 or 4 other students. Do your own cooking. So when you pay rent, and you can see in New Zealand dollars, for 195 per week, our dollar is slightly weaker than the Singaporean dollar. So it gives you a sort of an idea. That includes not only your rent, electricity, internet, and pastoral care too. So the university flats, we try and put a Kiwi host in each flat with you, so they can introduce you to their friends, the Kiwi culture. Hey, party on down at Leith Street. Come with me. It's going to be great. Hopefully there's no parents watching. They're all adults. And then they've got also a staff that put on activities in the weekends, and you've got someone to go to if you've got any issues, etc. They're really, really good value for money. And we've also got private flatting as well. So we've got in homestay. So we've got something for everyone. This little slide here, these are the colleges, those residential colleges. So the names of all the colleges, and you can see, so the purple is the university campus. The red is the city. So it goes into the city. And then you can see all our colleges are dotted round, all very close. Some University College Arana right on campus. So you can, oh my God, you've got a lecture at 9. You can hop out of bed at 10:02 in your pajamas and get to the lecture theatre if you're that inclined, I suppose. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. And this is what we're famous for. This is why all the Kiwis and Aussies want to come to experience the whole colleges.
What is in terms of what is in terms of daily groceries? Where do students usually get it?
So we've got supermarkets galore with these in walking distance. You've got 1, 2, 3 large supermarkets, and every supermarket has a international food aisle. Then we've got Southeast Asian supermarkets too. So you can also get Southeast Asian groceries. So no excuse not to make your mother's favourite dish. Just make sure she teaches you before you come. And then we've got in town lots of Southeast Asian cheap eats. Japanese, Korean, Malaysian, Chinese, Indian, Vietnamese. We don't have Indonesian, but we've got very good I know a lot of them have Indonesian food, like, nasi goreng and things like that. And our Indonesian students work at those restaurants because they're cheap, and us Kiwis, we love cheap, quick Asian food as well. So not a problem.
Will
That's the cost of living. Sorry?
Yeah, will students be able to get any discounts or any benefits being an international student?
Yeah, sure do. Soon as you get one of these, student ID card, well, this is a staff one, but same, there's lots of discounts in town. So there's lots of discounts in town. As I said before, the whole place is free Wi-Fi, so it's a good start. Our university gym, completely free for students, and it's a full-on professional gym with weight rooms, treadmills galore. They put on classes. You can do pump and spin and step and all that. You can go there and play basketball, and you hire badminton, ping pong, and you can hire surfing, surfboards, tents, etc. So that's all free for the students. There might be a wee hireage fee, but that's it. And I don't think, you might be able to tell me as an expert, a New Zealand expert, I'm not too sure if any other New Zealand university, their membership is free for the students. I think you have to pay that on top. So that is pretty cool.
Most of them, yes, you have to pay for membership.
I think so. So that's pretty good. The screen that you've got up is basically the cost of living. And we've just put some prices of products. So you're going to freak out when you see rice, of course. That's a bag of rice is about New Zealand $2. I know it's very much cheaper. But then there are things that are cheaper here in New Zealand than probably when you compare it to Indonesia or Malaysia or Singapore. Coffees are pretty reasonable, about $4, $3.50 to $4. I know when I get a coffee from Starbucks in Singapore, it's a lot more dearer than that. So we say New Zealand immigration says 15,000 New Zealand dollars is what you need to get to live. I've been doing this job for 11 years, and that has not increased, yet inflation has creeped up. So if you want a proper budget where you're not working part-time and earning money, I would say 20. Budget on 20, and that would cover your rent, utilities, and living costs as well, because you'll need toiletries. You might need to buy some warmer clothes maybe. And of course, you want to, in the holidays, go see the most beautiful country in the world with your friends. So you need to budget that in mind as well. So I think 20,000 is probably more likely to be able to live if you didn't have a part-time job. Yeah. All right, we're going to quickly show you another video. This one it's done by our graphics team, and it's the flyover to give you an idea. Now, I'm going to be on mute, I think, otherwise I'd point things out, but this will give you a good idea of what the university's like and how close everything is. Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good video. Yeah, I think
Is
all
it? You like
international students,
that?
yeah, it is. You can get a glimpse of everything in one video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's good. Yep. So I think I think you now got a good understanding
Yeah.
of how condensed and why people can just walk everywhere if they want to. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So probably we can carry on with life on campus. Is there any student support that international students will be able to obtain from?
Yeah, there definitely is. First of all, there's always, if you've got any questions about
Yeah.
programs and first of all, go to AECC Global. They're the experts. But if not, you can always ask Otago, ask some questions, and they'll get back to you on programs. We've got a wonderful pastoral care team that can look after not only renewing your passport when it comes time to doing that, travel insurance and medical insurance, and they put on a great international orientation when you first arrive, and then they become your aunties and they look after you and nothing's a problem. There's no such thing as a silly question. We've got student health. So when you must have, of course, travel and medical insurance. And the great thing is we've got our own healthcare facilities on campus with our own doctors, nurses, psychologists, pharmacists. So if you're feeling ill or whatever, you just go and see them, no need to pay, and they will contact the travel insurance company directly, no need to pay anything. So that's absolutely wonderful, a great service to have. OUSA, Otago University Students Association. Our president this year is an Indonesian, Geraldi, which is awesome. They offer free breakfasts for the students, which is so cool. And you can buy $3 vegan lunches, which is great. The Studio Impacts, Social Impact Studio is volunteering if you love volunteering, and it looks great for your CV later on. Campus Watch, we've got security here, which our students absolutely adore. They're not the police. They get to know them. They patrol the streets 24/7, nearly every day of the year. We've got prayer rooms if you need it. We've got a mosque just off campus. We've got chaplains. We have every faith under the sun that you can join and be part of. And then when it comes to graduating, we've got the Careers Development Centre, which will help you put your New Zealand CVs together, cover letters, practice interviews. They have the big education fairs that come down to Dunedin. So come down onto campus, because our graduates are so well thought of and wanted by employers that they fly down to interview you for those wonderful jobs in Auckland or Wellington or overseas or in Australia. So sometimes I talk to parents or I say, think of it as if, say, you were going to Oxford or Cambridge or Harvard, and you get a wonderful degree. You wouldn't think of staying in that city, that student city, to find a job. Of course, you get a wonderful degree and it gets you jobs all around the world. Otago's the same. You come to Dunedin, you come to a university city, you get a wonderful degree, which will get you jobs in New Zealand, Australia, and around the world. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Probably this is the session where why international students should choose Otago.
Why should they not? So, why Otago? So, not only are we New Zealand's oldest government university, we're also ranked in the top 1% in the world. So QS World Rankings 184, top 200 times higher, and we're the second highest ranking university in New Zealand. We're really proud that 95% of our graduates go on to work or further study. And we've been ranked the top university in New Zealand for international student experience in the last 5 years. And I think that reflects on the services that we can give and the support that we give to you as an international student. We are so proud that we have the highest number of PhD completions in the country. And you've got to remember, even though we're maybe, in sort of the most southern university in the world, 70% of our academic staff are identified as international or nationally distinguished. And they have research links throughout the world as well. So we're very well connected with top universities. So if you want to do postgrad research, we're research intensive, and we're a wonderful choice of university to come for postgrad as well as undergrad. We are, what else can I tell you about it? Now, here's some more USPs. Most of these that I've already talked about. We're incredibly proud that we were the first, not only the first university in New Zealand, but also in the British Empire, when it was the British Empire, to allow women to attend lectures. So, woo, for girl power. So not only do we have a woman prime minister, but she didn't go to Otago, but, first country in the world to allow women to vote. Otago, the first university in New Zealand and British Empire to allow women to attend lectures, which was quite good. I did hear, though, quite funnily, that there was the first woman to do medicine was allowed at Otago, and I think that was the first woman in the Southern Hemisphere to get into medicine. She was allowed in any lecture except when it came to reproduction. Then she wasn't allowed in the room with the men. Anyway, that was over 150 years ago, so times have changed. You're allowed now, ladies. If you're going to do medicine, you're allowed in all the gross anatomy and every time. Another thing we're really proud of is that we've also been ranked as one of the 15 most beautiful campuses in the world by Huffington Post and also Daily Times. We saw that too on some university rankings. Other rankings too, fun rankings. We've also been ranked 5th in the world for universities with the best surfing destination. So we're like Bali, I suppose, but you've got to wear a wetsuit, unfortunately. So it's just a funny little ranking as well that we got. Yeah. Within those, seriously, within the QS World Rankings, some sports related, maybe it's the surfing, I don't know, 13th best in the world, dentistry, 33rd in the world, MBA, our online MBA, 10th best in the world, which is absolutely fabulous. Okay, we're now going to watch a quick little video, just a little corporate video on Otago.
Yeah. Would you like to highlight with international students what are the courses that is available at University of Otago?
Sure. So as well as those sort of high rankings that I showed you, a lot of our programs too are also ranked in the top 100 and 200 in the world, but there were so many that it was too hard to put on one slide. So just bear with me. So we have 4 academic divisions at the university: business, science, health science, and humanities and social sciences. So for next year, if you want to come, and we call it a commerce degree, if you want to do a Bachelor of Commerce or coursework masters, taught masters, they are going to be taught online for next year while the borders are still shut. So it's looking like, well, definitely, you will not be able to come into New Zealand in time for a semester 1 intake. So if you're wanting to do commerce, business, and these are the majors that you can do it in at Otago, you can start your degrees online. Sciences. Now, these aren't all the sciences we have. Definitely go to our website and check them all out. It's one thing we don't have though. We're not an engineering school. We don't have engineering or aviation, but we have basically all the sciences that you can think of. Now, science is not being taught online for 2021. This is because we did teach it when we had a small lockdown at the start of this year. And just the feedback from the students was that because they couldn't get into the laboratories or clinics, etc., it just wasn't fair. It's not fair on you to come to do it online when you're paying international fees and you're not getting the same experience that our students are face-to-face. So they made a call, and I think it's a very brave one, but it's a sensible one, and it's thinking of you first, of giving you value and that student experience and service that we are so proud of. To let's not do them online for science or health science first year, and instead apply or defer your offer to 2022. Some of the most sort of famous or subjects, well, they're all listed there by Southeast Asian students, but definitely food science is a real favorite with you guys, human nutrition, biotechnology, zoology. There's not many zoology majors, and psychology as well. And we do have articulation agreements with universities in Southeast Asia. The other thing too is always think maybe 2021, start your university in Southeast Asia, and then we can always credit transfer you across to the degree in 2022 or 2023. 23. Gosh, it seems a long time away. We can always do that case by case, and we never, well, right now we don't actually, you don't have to pay for any, credit transfer to figure out how many credits, how many more years you've got left at doing an Otago degree. So there's always that alternative as well. Health sciences, basically, these are all our health science professions. And once again, of course, we're not going to teach them online. So I know there's quite a few upset students. You will have to defer to 2022 if you want to be a doctor, a dentist, a pharmacist, medical laboratory scientist, etc.
Yep. How about, would there be any facilities that students can enjoy in the university?
Certainly are. So basically, Otago, just some few sort of USPs. Otago is home to New Zealand's only dental school, and we're the only university to offer surveying, and we're the only standalone botany program. So those are three things, if you're interested in, you will have to come to Otago if you want to study in New Zealand. We have the largest science communication program in the world, and we've got the most successful genetics program in Australasia. Our law is regarded one of the best in the country, and we've got the oldest and the largest medical school in New Zealand. And our foreign policy school attracts leading national and international speakers, and we've basically, New Zealand Ministry of Foreign Affairs has used Otago to train new cohorts of New Zealand diplomats. So if you meet the New Zealand ambassador in your country, they might be an Otago graduate. Very high chance they are. What other facilities? We've got 7 libraries around campus, and the largest library sits over 2,000 students, and it's won awards. We have the Mallow Labs, which are state-of-the-art chemistry labs where the students all use laptops. We've got $1 million recording studio for our performing arts students as well. So as well as those beautiful old buildings, we've also got state-of-the-art facilities too. And yeah, here's a bit more on Unipol. Now, we've got over 150 clubs and societies you can join. There's a lot to do.
Besides studying and also having fun through clubs and society, would there be any career placement or opportunities for international students?
Definitely. So some of the things you can do, and I've listed here, is we've got, if you're a business student, we have business case competitions. We have the Audacious program if you're entrepreneurial and you've got a wonderful idea that you'd like to commercialize and you get money from doing it, sort of like Dragon's Den, I suppose. You can volunteer. We have also international student exchange with other universities around the world if you want to go to another university and you only pay. So if you've always wanted to go to Berkeley or Durham or NUS and you couldn't get in Singapore, come to Otago and then you can do your exchange at those universities. We've got over 100 and you're only paying Otago fees, which is pretty cool. We've got internships and apprenticeships, but our philosophy at Otago is you don't have to do, it's not compulsory to do an internship or an apprenticeship. You don't get credits for it as part of your degree, because we believe that students should want to do the apprenticeship or internship. They shouldn't be made to do it. They should be able to get that work experience or company experience by actually basically doing it in the summer holidays and putting their name down for the program and being interviewed by a company, etc. And some are paid and some are unpaid. So that's our philosophy on apprenticeships and internships. We've definitely got portfolios that the students can do in the summer holidays. Yeah, so there's lots of sort of resources. As I said before, we've got a wonderful careers development centre that will help you put your CVs together. We've got a whole program for international students. It's called sort of Work Ready program. And they get speakers in to say what's like the New Zealand culture in companies, what do they look for when they interview students, lots of tips and tricks, and it's all free for you, which is great.
Yeah, due to the time constraint, Victoria, probably you can tell us a bit more, like how about the culture and tradition that students need to be expecting of?
Yeah, sure. So basically in New Zealand, we've got a word and it's called manaakitanga. It's a te reo word. Te reo is native Māori. Very similar to Bahasa. There's some similarities between Bahasa and te reo. Lima, 5, eka, fish. Anyway, we won't go into the whole linguistics and anthropology. It's absolutely fascinating. But anyway, manaakitanga, it loosely translates to hospitality.
Yep.
And this plays a key role in New Zealand society. And at Otago, it's a little bit broader than this. It's the importance of being open and warm and welcoming to visitors. And we take great pride in that and having mutual respect for one another. So we want to make sure that if you are an Otago student, that we are making sure that you have the best time, that you're supported, that you have all the resources that are needed to gain that worldwide degree, to get you through your course, to give you as much support. And everyone has different learning styles. And we want to get to know you as a friend and support you through your journey. And make sure then when you graduate, become alumni and get that wonderful job too. Yeah. I've got a few slides here just to quickly give you a feel of it's not just all about Dunedin, it's also what else can you be seeing and doing, because study, getting a wonderful degree is part of an overseas experience. The other experience is the culture of the country and exploring the scenery. And we've got the most wonderful scenery on our back doorstep. So these are all scenes from round about an hour to 2 hours drive away. So you've got bungee jumping up there in the right-hand corner. That's in Queenstown. Skiing. So that's up in the mountains. So it's about 3 hours away. We're down at sea level. So it'd be very rare for you to get, with climate change as well, to get snowy days, which is unfortunate. Because coming from, the equator, from Southeast Asia, it's quite exciting seeing a bit of snow. Some other scenes around Dunedin. As I said before, we're in an art and cultural scene. So we've got Fashion ID, we've got concerts you can go to, sporting events. We love our coffee too. We've got a really strong coffee culture. And the wildlife, the little penguins and the sea lions that you'll get to see round the city. There's not many places in the world where you get to see wildlife so close to a city, to an urban setting. Larnax Castle, one of the only castles in New Zealand, and they say it's haunted. More wildlife, sea lions, penguins, you know I love penguins, albatross, more images around Dunedin. That, my friend, in the middle is a hot water swimming pool, just like Bondi Beach. So we too have heated pools in the rocks, wonderful farmers market where you get fresh produce. So a lot of people say, what is the New Zealand cuisine? And I basically say it's freshness. So it's eating, fresh fruit, stone fruit, vegetables, organic vegetables, fresh meat, fish. That is our cuisine, and adding that to recipes, and we're really, really lucky in that regard. And once again, you see, I love my little sea lions. They're so cute. So yeah, so this is your back garden basically. You've got skiing, you've got beaches, you've got mountains to explore, or you've got a lot of sort of cultural things, like you can go to museums and art galleries and festivals, arts festivals, International Food Festival once a year. So there's a lot to do and a lot to experience. Yeah. So, and that's what we're named after. So we're named after the region of Otago.
Okay. So we have reached the Q&A session. So probably I'll bring up some questions for Victoria to answer them. Okay, first question is by Sean. Sean would like to know, how long is the flight journey from KL to Dunedin?
Fantastic question. It's 10 hours. So, well, it's 10 hours to either Auckland or Christchurch. Actually from KL, let's add on another hour maybe. So from Changi, it's definitely 10 hours because I do it all the time, to either Auckland or Christchurch. So KL has direct flights to Auckland, and then it would be just under about an hour 45 direct flight from Auckland to Dunedin. Or if you went via Changi and you flew to Christchurch, another 10 hours. And the great thing is the majority of the flights are overnight. So I kind of settle in, have some dinner, watch a movie, and then cark it, basically sleep, and then wake up and you're arriving, which is really good. And then from Christchurch, if you flew into Christchurch, it's just a 40-minute flight on quite a small plane, the type of planes that I would take if I was flying around East Malaysia. Yeah, gives you an idea. So it's 40 minutes. Or because Christchurch from Dunedin is about 500 kilometres, so it is a bit of a drive. So fly from Christchurch, don't get us.
Yeah. The next question is Otago medicine recognized in Malaysia, or is there any special requirement or prerequisite subjects that students should take note?
Definitely is recognised in Malaysia. It's recognised in Malaysia, Singapore. I'm not too sure about Indonesia, but I would be surprised. You might have to just do an Indonesian medical bar, I'm sure, because Indonesia is not part of the Commonwealth. But it's definitely, So basically, what do you need? The first thing is, if you want to get into health science first year, so we don't have direct entry into medicine. Medicine's 6 years, and you come out with an MBCHB, which is a Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery. So the first year, we allow anyone into the first year. Health science first year, 7 compulsory subjects, and you sit a UCAT when you're at Otago, and then you compete with international students for a place into medicine. So that's one pathway in. Make sure to get into health science first year, you have not already done any study at a university. Singaporean Polytechnic, that's fine, or a polytechnic, that's fine, but not at a university. So, when I said before, maybe you go to university for 2021, then come in. That's fine for any program except health science first year. So please don't do that. The other thing, for if you are in Malaysia, is yet recognised in Malaysia is IMU has from 2023 will be accepting IMU students into medicine. Not many. You will be competing with other IMU students. We already know that IMU, we've got a pathway from IMU into dentistry, but from 2023 they're starting up medicine. So that might be another pathway as well.
Yep, that's great to know. Yeah, probably carry on to the next question by Needler Teo. How's the job opportunities like in Dunedin? Yeah, once students graduated, do they further study back in the city or any work opportunity?
Yeah, so as I said before, the job opportunities for, let's say, first of all, part-time work, because you'll be wondering, because on your student visa, you can work 20 hours a week, and then in the holidays, full-time. So let's talk about job opportunities, first of all, for part-time work, would be like cafe, retail, restaurant, and there are opportunities working in the university, in the library or a tutor, usually more postgrad students, and usually you've been there for a couple of years, so you've got to know, to be a tutor, you've got to know the academics, etc., or you'll be in your final year. When it comes to graduating from Otago, there are opportunities, say in healthcare, because we've got one of the largest hospitals, IT, there's a shortage of IT and we're a giga town, but majority for business, say you were doing a business major or science, you would probably go to another city to get that job, and that's where we would help you, and the Careers Development Centre would help you with your networks. If you wanted to get jobs back overseas in your own country, we've got alumni, Otago alumni, that we would get you in touch with to see if they can help as well. So there's lots of opportunities that way. But you can, at this stage, as long as you graduate with a bachelor or higher. So it could be a 3-year bachelor, it could be a 1-year coursework master or a 3-year PhD. You will be given a 3-year post-study work visa that you can apply for to stay in New Zealand, get a job, get some experience, looks great on your CV if you want to go back home. Yeah.
There's a student from Indonesia, Fern, would like to know what is the popular course from Otago for Indonesian students?
Well, if it's science, we do have an awful lot of Indonesian students doing food science and human nutrition, the 2 separate programs. And I think that's because, well, for food science, our HOD is Indonesian, Professor Indrawati Oi. But also I think because Indonesia, you know, both Indonesia and New Zealand, one of the largest export industries is food products, agriculture, horticulture. We all want healthy, safe food to eat. So I think that's really appealing, and there's a lot of opportunities for food scientists and food nutritionists as well, human nutritionists. If it's business, a lot of Indonesian students are doing right across the realm, more probably marketing, management, sustainable business is becoming quite hot, and we're very good at that at Otago as well. Business data science, I see quite a few Indonesian students. In the arts, humanities side, politics. You guys are all over politics. You love your politics, your international business, politics, Master of International Studies, and development as well, and planning. We get quite a few Indonesian students and LPDP students doing that. Humanities, so it's politics, and then health sciences. We've got Indonesian students in dentistry. We've got Indonesian students doing physiotherapy. We don't have any in medicine yet, but I'm sure we will. Yeah, so they're right across the board, which is lovely. Yeah.
Another question by Carmen. I think this we have already addressed. Her question would be about post-study work visa. So her questions, I think this we have covered the 3 years post-study work visa. She would like to know, is there any upper age limit to apply for post-study work visa?
Oh, that's a really good question. No, there is no. my understanding, please look at Immigration New Zealand website. That has a lot of information on the post-study work visa. And of course, AECC Global experts too, and they'll be able to help you too with that question. But isn't that funny? I really want to say no, there isn't an upper age limit to apply, but I am assuming that, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have covered most of the questions. So thank you everyone for your questions, and Victoria has cleared all the doubts and all the questions that you have. So it has to come to the end of our live session. Victoria, will you have anything to add on, or would you have anything that to share with all international students throughout Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore?
I just think with the whole COVID situation, keep close contact with your agent, AECC Global, or on each website of the universities in New Zealand, not just Otago, but the other 7 universities. We always have our own COVID-19 web pages, and we keep them up to date. So that has that latest news. So we only know when the government will tell us when the borders open. We know Immigration New Zealand is closed until at least, they say, February, March. So it's different to Australia. They are not processing any student visas. Why they're not doing that is because we just haven't known this year what was happening with COVID. We weren't too sure. Yes, okay, we've got vaccines now, but they want to see what happens with the vaccines, etc. So they felt that, and I think it's actually New Zealand law, which is different to Australia law, that they couldn't actually process visas because it's misleading. It's misleading to students, and it gives us a false sense of hope. And we want to be as transparent and clear and as honest as we can to you, which can be hard sometimes, but that's the way New Zealand's stance on this is. We want to be honest and clear to you guys. So we will know. I don't know anything else.
Hopefully, finger crossed. Yeah.
Fingers crossed that we get to see you in 2021. There is the option of studying online for business and some arts programs. But for the majority, I think I'll be seeing you in 2022, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, our foundation. Yeah, I never actually mentioned foundation. So for those students that are SMA 2 or SPM or O-level students, we do have pathway programs into Otago, which are all online and our English. So you definitely can start online. And I've got a lot of students doing that this year in health science, business, and art streams. So it's basically 8 months or 26 weeks of study. And then you hopefully by that stage, you come in June or October, and then the borders will be open the following year. So that's another kind of pathway. Otago. Yeah. And it's all done by Otago. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Victoria, for your valuable time and the information that you provided us for University of Otago and the City of Dunedin. So thank you everyone for attending this live session, and we truly appreciate it. So if let's say you have any questions or any queries, please contact us. And we will also keep in touch with Victoria if you have any questions, and then just reach out to us through our platform, our social media, or our website. Yeah, so next at 1:30, we will have our next live session. It's about University of Waikato, happening in Singapore, Malaysia time 1:30, Indonesia time at 12:30. So remember to join the live session and share the session with your friends or your family or relatives. Thank you so much, everyone.
Take care,
Thanks,
everyone.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
stay safe.